What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video, and in this video we will talk about a lot of different things. Who could succeed Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool manager? Let me know, who do you want to see as the next Liverpool manager, because Jurgen Klopp has hinted that he will step down from his Liverpool managerial position after his contract is up in 2.5 years. And Jerzy Dudek, the former Liverpool player who was the hero of Istanbul, said that Steven Gerrard is the only candidate to replace Jurgen Klopp, and I will have all the details why he said that in this video. And also there will be a big transfer news revealed about Liverpool's summer transfer window and lots of other interesting stuff. We will take a look at 6 potential candidates who could replace Jurgen Klopp as the next Liverpool manager. So I think this is an interesting discussion to be had, so leave your thoughts in the comments below, and of course if you enjoy these videos, leave a like. It just takes a second for you guys to like the video. Jerzy Dudek gave an interview to a Polish newspaper. He is from Poland, and this is what he said, and I quote: "When I was in Liverpool recently, it was no secret that Steven Gerrard, the Liverpool legend, is the man and indeed the only candidate for replacing Klopp when he decides his time at Anfield is over. Everyone knows that sooner or later the great Liverpool captain Gerrard will return." And Dudek even admitted that he would have laughed at the thought of Gerrard becoming the Liverpool manager during their playing days together at Anfield. This is what Dudek said: "I was with Steven Gerrard in the Liverpool dressing room for many years. I must admit I was amazed he became a manager so quickly after finishing playing. I spent a lot of time with him in private too, and not once did he ever mention to me he wanted to become a manager, but he's ideally suited to it because he was a great leader, and as a captain he brilliantly managed our dressing room. But honestly, I would have laughed at you if you told me he wanted to be a manager." So that's a very interesting interview by Jerzy Dudek, and I'm not sure who he spoke to at Anfield or in Liverpool, but him saying that he's the only candidate to replace Jurgen Klopp, I think is a big statement, and let's examine that thought for a little bit. So if Steven Gerrard is the only candidate to replace Jurgen Klopp, he must be very successful at Rangers in the next 3 years. He must win at least 1 Scottish Premier League title. He must win at least 1 or 2 domestic trophies in Scotland. Trying to overcome Celtic, of course, is a very big challenge for Steven Gerrard, but so far he has done a massive job, and a very good one. He improved Rangers very much last season. They had a very good season. They went far in the Europa League, and they pushed Celtic all the way to the Scottish Premier League title, but in the end Celtic quite comfortably won it. But this season Celtic and Rangers both started off the season winning all their games so far. So far so good for Steven Gerrard. But I think of course Liverpool will undoubtedly have a keen eye on Steven Gerrard and how he does at Rangers. Is it enough? Is the experience enough for Gerrard to manage Liverpool, to have 3 or 4 seasons in Scottish football? Let me know, guys, because I'm not sure. But you know, sometimes young managers really thrive and succeed in big jobs. I mean, Pep Guardiola didn't have any managerial experience apart from managing Barcelona's second team, and he became Barcelona manager, and the rest is history. He won 6 trophies in his first season. I'm not saying that Steven Gerrard will be as good as Guardiola, far from it, but there are examples. Mourinho, for example, only had a managerial experience with one smaller Portuguese club when he became the manager of Porto, and he won everything in Portugal, and he won the Champions League with Porto as well as the Europa League or UEFA Cup at that time, I think. So there are examples of young managers becoming the manager of a big club and really succeeding, but of course there are many other examples of those managers failing. My only worry for Steven Gerrard to become Liverpool manager is I don't want his legacy tarnished and ruined because he fails as a Liverpool manager, because the pressure will be immense. To follow Jurgen Klopp will be almost as difficult as following somebody like Sir Alex Ferguson at Man United or following Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. Because Jurgen Klopp's legacy will be huge. By the time he leaves, I'm sure that Jurgen Klopp will win multiple titles and trophies with Liverpool. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Is Steven Gerrard good enough? I'm afraid that the only way we can find that out is to appoint him as Liverpool manager. As crazy as that sounds, I don't think Gerrard would manage another Premier League club before managing Liverpool. Maybe managing like somebody like Leicester, who is not a direct rival of Liverpool, that could happen. But can we judge Steven Gerrard as manager of Leicester and truly say he's good enough for the Liverpool job? It's very difficult to tell. And I don't think Steven Gerrard would go and manage in Spain or Germany or France. He doesn't really speak those languages well enough to be a real success there. So it's a very difficult argument to make, and there are a lot of candidates, so let's look at them. The first one is Xabi Alonso. He is now the manager of Real Sociedad's beat team or youth team, and Xabi Alonso, of course, is also into Liverpool history because in his first season he won the Champions League and he won the FA Cup and many other trophies. And he is now managing Real Sociedad's B team. Also, Alonso will be looking to make the step up to a higher level in a few years. And Liverpool might just be able to offer him that. But I'm not sure that it's possible. Xabi Alonso is still a huge Liverpool fan. I read his interview recently and he's still following Liverpool very, very closely. And he even confessed that his dream was to lead Liverpool out at Anfield as their manager. So I think if Xabi Alonso was offered the job, he would definitely answer the call and say yes. Another very interesting candidate is Julian Nagelsmann. He is a young German manager who really impressed during his 3-year spell with Hoffenheim, and he was rewarded with the RB Leipzig job this summer, and that is a step up because Leipzig have bigger financial resources than Hoffenheim, and they probably have a better team as well. And Leipzig started off the season on fire, winning all 3 of their games, 2 in the Bundesliga, scoring 6 goals. Timo Werner scored 2 of those goals, and through his tactical innovation and the love of fast-paced, high-intensity football, Nagelsmann would suit the Liverpool's playing style very well. And I think Nagelsmann is one of the hottest young managers around world football, and of course he will only be more popular in 2022. I think he will have a lot of success at Leipzig, and Liverpool shouldn't hesitate to force themselves in front of the queue. And I will be honest, I would give Gerrard a little bit more time to get experience, and I would appoint somebody like Julian Nagelsmann in Klopp's success if Jurgen Klopp doesn't want to come back as Liverpool manager after taking a 1-year break. Another candidate, interestingly, is Brendan Rodgers. Would you take Brendan Rodgers back? Because Rodgers is a very controversial figure. I heard lots of different opinions about him from different Liverpool fans. Some say that he is a fraud, only helped by Suarez and Sturridge. Others say that he is a great young manager, but he was just too inexperienced to see out the title challenge and win the title in the end. I think even the title challenge itself was a miracle, because Liverpool fans would have been happy with 4th place at the beginning of the 2013-14 season, and the way Liverpool ran Man City all the way until the last match day of the season, scoring 101 goals and playing some of the most exciting, entertaining, thrilling, swashbuckling style of football. It was a great ride, and I think his time with Celtic was full of success. He won 3 or 4 titles in a row. He won all the cup competitions in a row as well. But it's a big worry. His record in Europe is abysmal. It's absolutely shocking. With Liverpool and with Celtic, he really underachieved in Europe. But now he's impressing at Leicester City. But of course, at Leicester, the demands, the expectations are nowhere near as high as at Celtic or at Liverpool, so he can get away with dropping points here and there and not winning many games. And still, if Leicester finish in the top half of the table, the fans will say that's a success. Is he good enough for Liverpool? I would say yes. I would like to see how he does with more experience coming in for the second time, but my only stipulation would be for Rodgers not to make the player signings, because when it was only up to Brendan Rodgers to choose the players, he really failed. He chose players like Ricky Lambert and Borini and players like that, and they just weren't good enough. They didn't fit into the playing style. So if the transfer committee can choose the players and Rodgers manages the team, the tactics, I think that could be a successful combination. The next candidate is Thomas Tuchel, the next Liverpool manager. Potentially could be Thomas Tuchel. He's now the manager of Paris Saint-Germain. He used to be the manager of Dortmund. He plays really nice football, but I'm not sure if he's good enough, because he failed miserably in Europe with Dortmund, with Paris Saint-Germain as well, and he didn't exactly earn himself many fans in Liverpool, among Liverpool fans, during the Champions League clashes between PSG and Liverpool. But he could make a great replacement for Jurgen Klopp. And it's interesting because he actually made a career out of replacing Jurgen Klopp. He has taken over both Mainz and Borussia Dortmund after Jurgen Klopp. So one more change could be on the cards. He loves attacking football, that's true, and he could find himself on the lookout for a new home in 2022. But the way that Paris Saint-Germain failed in Europe and the way they failed in the French League Cup and in the French Cup is a little bit worrying, and I would say he underachieved with Paris Saint-Germain, because them winning the French title is not really a big achievement, because with their squad they should be winning the French league title every season, and they just recently lost in France, Paris Saint-Germain, lost the game in France. The jury is still out with Thomas Tuchel, but until 2022 we will have a lot more information. I say if he makes it to the Champions League final or the semi-finals with PSG, and if he wins everything in France between now and 2022, he could be a candidate. Another one is Diego Simeone, but I don't think his style of football would fit in at Liverpool, because Liverpool ultimately is an attacking, fast-paced, really explosive style of football, and Diego Simeone is more of a defensive-minded coach. He loves to win every game 1-0. I'm seeing Atletico Madrid results, and the most often they get a 1-0 win at home or away from home, or a 2-0 win. And it's great for the results side, but it's not the most entertaining kind of football. And I think that at Liverpool, you have to do a lot more than just win games. If Liverpool win games 1-0 with boring football, defensive football, I don't think the fans will like that one bit. But, he had a great run at Atletico Madrid, and he's still doing very, very well. He won the Spanish league once with Atletico Madrid ahead of Real Madrid and Barcelona, and that's a huge, massive achievement. And many newspapers are reporting that Jurgen Klopp will at least take 1 year off after he leaves Liverpool. The big question is, will he come back to Liverpool or will he want to manage another club? We shall wait and see, but I just wanted in this video to look into the possible candidates for the Liverpool managerial job. And let's talk about Bobby Duncan. The Liverpool young striker was subject to some interest from abroad, and actually Fiorentina launched a loan bid to get Bobby Duncan on loan into Fiorentina, but it was, according to Liverpool, a derisory and unrealistic loan bid, and they absolutely refused and rejected the bid. It looks like that Liverpool will not allow Bobby Duncan to leave the club this season, because they still have high hopes for the just 18-year-old Bobby Duncan. Alex Inglethorpe, the Liverpool Academy director, rejected both approaches immediately, and Liverpool are not in talks with Fiorentina anymore over any kind of a deal. Duncan won the FA Youth Cup with the under-18s in April, and he has graduated to the under-23s this season. But of course, when he was absent, when Liverpool under-23s won away at Southampton 4-2 after losing their first two games 7-0 on aggregate to Tottenham and Chelsea respectively, it was a much needed victory, and Ryan Brewster scored, Curtis Jones scored, Harvey Elliott got an assist, so it was really good to see the Liverpool youngsters. And Van den Berg played, Kiana Hoover played, although he made a small mistake which led to a Southampton goal. Duncan moved to Liverpool last year for just a compensation fee of £0.2 million, which is absolutely peanuts, and I think Liverpool want to develop him and see whether he can break through into the Liverpool first team, because he looks like a real talent. Even if he can't break into the Liverpool first team, I think there is a much higher ceiling for Bobby Duncan, and if we loan him out maybe in a year or two to some Premier League or Championship club like Harry Wilson, we could get a lot more money for him. He was actually at Manchester City since age 11, but he spoke to Jurgen Klopp and to Liverpool recently, and he wanted to change his career, because at Man City there is virtually no route to the first team. Even apparently the biggest talent that Guardiola has ever seen, the young centre midfielder, his name just skips my mind, Phil Foden, yeah, him. Even he can't get into the Man City team. Even he can't get enough minutes. And apparently, according to Guardiola, he is the most talented footballer that he has ever seen in his career, which is absolute nonsense, because he worked with Lionel Messi, the best footballer probably to ever play the game. So Bobby Duncan thought that there is a direct route from the youth teams to the first team at Liverpool, and he's right. Just look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, look at many other young Liverpool players. Ryan Brewster will get a lot of playing time this season as well. And former Tottenham manager Harry Redknapp gave a very harsh interview on Arsenal, and he said that Liverpool and Manchester City will finish around 30 points ahead of Arsenal this season, which I think is a little bit too much, because Liverpool came 28 points ahead of Arsenal last season, but I think Arsenal are a lot better than last season, so I don't think they will be that far apart. But this is what Harry Redknapp said, this is his thoughts. Arsenal are short in midfield, they are short at the back. I think they will be 30 points adrift of the top two, and I don't see them finishing fourth. At the moment, Tottenham and Chelsea are in a much bigger trouble than Arsenal, because Chelsea lost Higuain, Morata and Eden Hazard, and those are three players who could score quite a lot of goals. And yes, they have some young players, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, who are now performing and scoring goals for Chelsea, but will that be enough for the top four? That's a big question. And I think Arsenal actually look in better shape at the moment than Chelsea, and they look in better shape than Tottenham at the moment. Tottenham have a lot of problems. They lost to Newcastle 1-0 at home, which was the biggest shock of the Premier League weekend. Newcastle had odds of 11 to win at Tottenham, and they managed to do it thanks to a brilliant defensive performance. But Tottenham didn't really create one big chance. VAR didn't give them a quite clear penalty on Harry Kane, in my opinion, but VAR refused to give it, which was a big shock to many Tottenham fans, and I was surprised at that as well. Of course, that's good news for Liverpool and Tottenham. If Eriksen stays, then they will have a big opportunity to bounce back and get top four. But if Eriksen is sold, because Real Madrid and other clubs are circling around Eriksen, that's why he has been in and out of the Tottenham team. If Eriksen is sold and Tottenham can't replace Eriksen right now, I think they will miss out on the top four, and I think Arsenal will come into the top four, and either Chelsea or Man United. The jury is out on both teams. Man United look a team in turmoil once again. So the top four race, it looks like, will be closer and even more unpredictable than last season, because at least last season Tottenham was pretty certain to make the top 4. But this season, with the bad run that Tottenham had at the end of last season and this season, they are in relegation form. Tottenham collected just 15 points from the last 15 Premier League games, which is absolutely bonkers. Just in comparison, Liverpool have 12 wins from the last 12 Premier League games. Wow, that's just an incredible difference between those two teams, and it's so good that already Liverpool are 5 points ahead of Man United, ahead of Chelsea, ahead of Tottenham. So it's a brilliant start to the season for Liverpool, and also the way that the other top 6 clubs have done. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.